When I was a child, I spent hours upon hours trying to solve my dad's Rubik's Cube with no luck. Then one day it just clicked. You see, these are just a bunch of stickers, and if you remove them, then put them back, you can easily solve the Rubik's Cube. But apparently that doesn't count. So after 25 years of never solving that Rubik's Cube, I can finally admit to my dad that I'm the one that ruined his. Oh yeah, I'm also going to solve it, and I'll do it in under a minute in 1 week because I made a 3-year-old my nemesis. Day 1, I borrowed a Rubik's Cube from a friend. I felt as though my first attempt at solving it was going well for about a minute till I realized I had no clue what I was doing. And with 43 quintillion possible combinations, I must have been having a Tom Cruise moment to think that I could solve this cube without some help. So I did a little research and eventually stumbled across a YouTube channel by the name of JPerm, which turned out to be a different JPerm than the one I went to school with. But YouTube JPerm turned out to be the cube-solving Jesus I needed to take my unsolved cube and turn it into wine. After a few hours of research and practice, I was able to solve the Rubik's Cube in under 10 minutes, and that quickly turned to under 5 minutes. This method was easier than making a grilled cheese sandwich with an iron. It's called the beginner's method, and it goes like this. There's an amazing adrenaline rush about being able to easily do something you once thought was impossible. Plus, flicking the cube around looked really cool, like something you would see in an anime. I noticed I was getting faster, but just how fast could I get? Under 4 minutes, maybe under 3? And then I stumbled across a video so shocking I had to call a friend. You see, my friend's been struggling to solve the cube for a week. Hey, I just sent you a text. Did you get it? Anyways, you know how you've been struggling trying to solve that Rubik's Cube for a week? That video is of a kid that solved it in under a minute. A 3-year-old, huh? No, I'm not being a jerk. No, I'd never be a jerk to you. I have so much more respect for you than that. Whatever. That's right. I couldn't believe it. I found a video of a 3-year-old solving a Rubik's Cube in under a minute. There's something about a kid easily solving a problem you were struggling with that kind of makes you wonder, what are you doing with your life? New goal, solve this thing in under a minute, and I had 1 week to do it. I mean, a 3-year-old did it in 47 seconds. Sure, she probably trained for like 5 years, but I was motivated. How hard could it be?
We are as dust in the wind. You're my boy, Blue!
Day 2. I did the research into speed cubing, and there were so many methods. ZZ, Meta, Rue, C-Pop, Hip-Hop, K-Pop, Hopscotch, Kids Pop, Learn to Rock. My brain exploded. I settled on C-Pop. It was the most popular method for speed cubers. Unfortunately, it was totally different than the beginner's method. I had to relearn how to solve a Rubik's Cube. First, you solve 4 across. Easy enough. Then you solve the first 2 levels at the same time, known as F2L. Then OLL, which stands for orienting the last layer, and then finally PLL, the player's loving lead. In order to solve the cube in under a minute, I knew I had to at least be able to solve the first 2 layers in around 30 seconds or better. But I was getting minutes, just for 2 layers. It was taking me longer to solve for 2 layers using C-Pop than it took me to complete the whole cube using the beginner's method. But I wasn't going to be deterred. I had motivation. Day 3. Even though I struggled harder yesterday than every parent struggling to stay awake at the kids' school play, I was excited for the day. The speed cube I ordered 2 days ago was coming in thanks to Big Papa Bezos. I'm not sure why, but the cube I borrowed was not the smoothest thing. It finally arrived and this thing was smooth, snappy, and responsive. It was like butter in my hands, and I knew that this would help give me the edge I needed to get under 1 minute. If there's anything I've learned from the greats like Lance Armstrong, Barry Bonds, and Mark McGwire, In order to be great, you need a little performance enhancer. Eventually, I was starting to feel comfortable, but not fast with F2L. So I decided that it was time to learn OLL and PLL to finish the cube. But this was an entirely different beast. This was AP calculus all over again. It required memorizing some 30-odd algorithms and a plethora of letters like U prime, L prime, R, U, G, L, Y. I had no alibi. I haven't been this confused about letters since the 10 plus years I pretended to know what LMAO meant. But I practiced for hours that day. Day 4, impossible kicked in. But I was motivated. I felt pretty good about solving the cube without the help of cheat sheets, but my time was far from my goal. I saw that somebody had learned to solve the cube in under a minute in a week. That's how I knew it was possible. But I didn't realize till today that they were using a version of the beginner's method and not CFOP. But it's too late to go back now. So I had to cube to be the very best, like no one ever was. To solve this was my real test. To train was my cause. I practiced holding the cube, flicking the cube, anything and everything to get that muscle memory going in order to get my time down. And I practiced every chance I got. Almost done, I'm solving for Brown. But still, the best I could do was averaging under 2 minutes. I got lucky a few times and got about a minute and 30, but under a minute was really starting to look impossible. Day 5, I grinded hard on this 3x3 colored cube inspired by Unicorn Throw Up. I was starting to look a little rough and smell a little rough, to be honest. But I came to a realization. I put in the work. I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm getting regularly a minute and 30 seconds, something still to be proud of. And I know with more time and practice, I'll get better and faster. But learning to solve a Rubik's Cube in under a minute in 1 week was at best nearly impossible and at worst a good way to go bald if I wasn't already. So I admitted defeat to my 3-year-old make-believe nemesis, and I started to think of a new thumbnail for the video and took out every joke of the 3-year-old rival. And then this happened. Finally. Can we get a light on that? My mom had a saying, and she was right. Anything is possible with enough determination and a crap load of free time. Stopped it kind of slow.